Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode here of Let's Talk Airguns. My name is Rick Hutzer with AirgunWeb, and I am super excited to be with you guys tonight. We've got kind of a jam-packed show. I've got a bunch of different things we want to talk about. I've been having a nice conversation here with Kyle in the chat before the live tonight. We may get to some of those topics. In fact, since it's just he and I sit here, just jump right in on a couple things. One, he was talking about iguana hunting. I've done a little bit. I went to Puerto Rico and I've been down to Florida. My Puerto Rico trip, I was with Hatsan and we were using both PCPs and brake barrels. And I really found, ideally, I mean, sure, PCPs are great. They're easier to shoot, give you some more range, more accuracy, etc., like that. But they also, they're big. They're bigger, heavier. Had to use a scope, etc., etc. I really found brake barrels, given the distance, was far better suited. Worked really well, and um, iguanas are different than, say, any warm-blooded animal. I just was wrapping up with him on this particular point. Iguanas they're cold-blooded, so they don't know when they're dead yet. I don't know how else to put it. If you blow, if you hit the vitals hard on a warm-blooded animal, they're going to expire relatively quickly. With a cold-blooded animal, snake, iguana, that kind of thing, it's amazing how long they will continue to go with just they just should not be still moving, and they are. So really, your optimal shot with the iguana, what makes it one challenging and very fun, is it's all about that perfect headshot. When you get that perfect headshot, it's great. I mean, it's an instant drop. I've seen iguanas take 15 and 20 hits. None of them hit them right in the head, but they're all shot up everywhere. They just keep crawling down the tree. So it's one of those things where it's really a fun thing to go hunt, but it really is not at all about power, and it's all about precision. You get a good, accurate air gun, even though 177. If you can get something that's good and accurate, that's going to give you the highest level success hunting iguanas. I would love to go down back down to Florida with like the Gamma Arrow, the super lightweight, open sights, great for close range stuff, high shot count, very consistent. So you get 50 or 60 shots. Yeah, they're not power, but they're 15, 17 foot-pounds. And everything we're shooting is 20 to 30 yards out. Oh, man, that would be absolutely ideal. Hey, Tim, I hope you're doing well. I'm doing very good. I've had a couple weeks where I've had a bunch of follow-up appointments just for you guys that are following things, and health-related stuff is all looking pretty good. The old ticker here is doing great, and I had a follow-up on as some of you guys know, I was diagnosed with CLL, which is chronic lymphocytic leukemia, and my doctor says everything's stable, it's not progressing. And so that's all very good. So very, very good news all the last week. And I was able to rearrange my my blood work, because I have to go get blood work checked every couple of weeks to get my blood thinners leveled out so that I'm therapeutic because of the mechanical valve they put in. And I got that moved to Fridays. So, and like every other week. So I'm going to hopefully go back to every Tuesday night. We'll be doing Let's Talk Airguns. So we're back to hopefully every week, which I'm excited about. And also, good news across the board on the health stuff. So that's pretty awesome. So, and Timmy, I haven't forgotten about you and your issue with your air gun. I'm thinking that probably after we get on the other side of Airgun Expo, I might even have something I can get you settled up with, and you can have something to shoot again. So let's chat after that. Let me get through these next few weeks, and we'll go from there. Yeah, Dave, I'm doing very well, thank you. I hope you guys are all doing really well too. Before we get too deep into this the show tonight, I want to say thank you to Airgun Pro Shop for sponsoring Let's Talk Airguns. As I mentioned a couple weeks ago, Airgun Pro Shop is under new management. They bought me out, which is awesome. I'm working with them to continue to with marketing and revamp and continue to work on the new website. So I was going to show you a few things on that today. So Anyway, so we'll do that here in just a minute, but wanted to just remind you guys that this show, Let's Talk Airguns, is brought to you by Airgun Pro Shop. So check them out, www.airgunproshop.com. So really quickly, before we jump into some of the air guns we're going to talk about tonight, and I do want to get Kyle had some good. There's a gentleman up here by the name of Kyle. We were talking before the show about he's looking to mod his G2 30 cal, and I thought might be a pretty good topic one of these nights to kind of get into when does it make sense to mod your air gun and when does it not make sense. That's a kind of a deep topic, so we probably won't get into that tonight so much, but it would be kind of a cool thing to talk about because I think many times, I know that I did in the beginning, I would jump in, I'd buy something, let's say I wanted this level of performance, but I didn't have this much money in my wallet, right? So I'd buy this level of, I'd want this level of performance, I'd buy a gun that was here, based on what people said, I could make it do this. And the amount of time, energy, and money to get it to that place, I always, I don't think, trying to think if there's ever been a time where that was successful. Yeah, I don't think there has been. I think every time I bought low, thinking I was going to mod it to get it to where I wanted it, I wound up spending more money, and never was quite satisfied that I was getting what I was wanting there in the end. So just as a educational point, that's something we could talk about another day. Now, if you like to tinker and you enjoy that process, then mod away. That is a lot of the fun. I enjoy building computers. It's part of one of the hobbies I really like. I also like flying RC airplanes and drones and all of those things. And absolutely none of those make financial sense. I have more fun building the computer and running benchmarks and tests and all that kind of stuff than I ever do actually using the doggone thing. So, if you like tinkering, then man, air guns are a great sport to get into because there's so much you can do with them. But if you want to go out and shoot and you're trying to get this level of performance, but you're not looking to dedicate your life to tinker till you get there, then you're better off buying at the level, even if you have to save a little bit, or reducing what you think you need for now, starting here, then when you can afford the higher level, just buy that. You're going to find yourself much happier in the end. So let's see. Hey, Kyle, that's cool, man. I've been building computers for 30 years. I took a bit of a break. I'm actually thinking about getting a YouTube channel up and going on the tech side because I've collected so much gear over the last year and a bit getting back into PCs that I need to justify the expense from a business perspective. So I'm probably going to start a YouTube channel for my computer business, and that way I can go ahead and write all that off. So anyway, let me show you guys real quick what we got going on with Airgun Pro Shop. All right, so first of all, they've got a bunch of Rex product in, so let's go there real quick. Last week I was I typed that in wrong. Last week I was trying to show you some stuff, and the site gave us a bit of a fit. I didn't realize that our host was doing an update, so hopefully things will stay working for us tonight. All right, so the Rex products they got in, they've got the Last Resort in, they've got carbon fiber tanks, steel tanks. We still have some of the semi-automatic airspeeds, the Max Airs, have some Max MLs. They also have the Cloud Ultra, which I'll be doing a video on that very soon. And they've also got some products from Donnie FL to take the little Rex pistol. They have the adapters, have the Donnie FL moderators. You guys can have some fun turning those into something very cool. So, Timmy, let me get back to that, and I'll jump out. I'll try and remember to address that here in a minute. Anyway, the other thing I want to show you guys is that, on the website when we were first talking about this, and this is, less for enthusiasts and more for folks just coming to the sport. I thought it would be a great idea if people could search based on category, not on product. Because, if you look at the different brands of air guns, you don't necessarily know what air gun's good for what. So kind of broke things down into Like, okay, so we've got like bench rest, field target hunting, recreational, and specialty guns, or utility guns, excuse me. And I maybe need to rearrange that order. But anyway, so like if you go to bench rest and go to intermediate bench rest rifles, you're going to see rifles that are suitable for that activity. I think that's pretty cool. We did also add in air guns by brand. So if you're looking for an Air Venturi, whatever, Avenger, let's say, you can go and jump right to that as well. So take a look at the website. They've also got, they're not limiting ammo sales anymore, so that's opened up. So please, go visit, check them out, www.airgunproshop.com. And again, I want to say thank you to them for sponsoring the show. So let's go ahead and move on to our next topic real quick. Let me go back over here. Let me look at Timmy's question here. Hey, Rick, do you have any thoughts on the Beeman QB Chief, 2nd gen in 177? I might be able to get one for a trade for a scope I have lying here. Heath, don't even get me started on Long Island iced teas. That's my favorite drink, man. And they do me bad, man. They do me very bad, and I'm not supposed to have them, but boy, do I like them. I really like the QB Chief. Timmy, if you can get a QB Chief Gen 2, I think that's the one with the magazine. Just a really, really fun gun. You'll have a lot of fun with it. Um, um, okay, let's see here. All right, let's get into one of the videos I've done here recently. I'm kind of watching some of the comments here, so I might jump back in here. Um, uh, the the Beeman Gen 2 and the Commander. I can briefly. Um, so the Beeman QB PCP. Um, yeah, I've got Tim. I've used the CV Life scopes. They're decent. They're okay. Um, so you guys are chatting amongst yourselves, but the Commander's higher pressure, bigger stock. The QB PCP is lower pressure, more like a QB 78. That's PCP. So that's, excuse me, kind of the differences there. All right. All right. So let's go over to one of the videos that got a lot of views this last week, which was the Hatsan Factor. Now, I wanted to, sorry, I got Windows installing on a machine over there, and it's voice commanding on me, so apologize for that. That's always back in the back there. I might have to just go shut that off if it keeps going. All right, so really quick, I want to talk about the Hatsan Factor because this gun I had in my mind mentally determined it was going to be a certain thing based on my work with the gunner and other things. And then I got it and realized that what I had assumed was way off. And I wonder how many folks, not specifically with the Factor, maybe not, but I wonder how many folks have that kind of experience where they think a product's going to do a certain things and be a certain thing, but then they get it and it doesn't live up to that expectation. Well, one of the ways you can sort of mitigate that and help yourself from making bad choices, obviously watch reviews. And the reason I do the product reviews I do, which is like out of the box, and I kind of walk through various stages of use versus just showing you the absolute best the product can do and perform the level it can perform, is I want folks to get like a realistic I don't know, experience with the gun. So when you get something out of the box, it's right out of the box. You may need to do things. You may get different results day one than you get day 31. So, I want people to understand that progression. So I got this in and I was expecting more, frankly. But that was all 100% on me. Okay. So I can't blame Hatsan, can't blame the Factor. I cannot put any fault there. Because I could have done one simple thing And that was, let me just show you guys this because and we do this in the video. Um, if you go to Pyramid Air and let's say you're looking at something they sell, you can check your reviews, you can check all that stuff, but you can also go right here on the page and you can pull up the manual. And I don't know about you, but if you ever had like you've been missing something and you need to go find the manual for it and you've misplaced it, can't find it or whatever, well, the fact that Pyramid Air, and I don't know they have it for every single product, but for a lot of their products that actually have the manual, that is super awesome. So if I just scroll down here, it actually has a table, a chart that shows me before I even buy it exactly what I'm going to be expecting out of this gun. And this is where, if I had just taken a look at it, see, we have, let's see. All right, here it is, the joules, foot-pounds. All right, so here we are in 25 cal, right? And it's telling me that I'm going to get 33.5 foot-pounds. Now, personally, in a gun like this, I'm going to want 55 to 60. Ideally, I'm wanting 60 foot-pounds in a 25. That's what I'm looking, because I see this as a bench rest 100-yard gun, provided it has the power. It has the legs to get there. 33.5 foot-pounds doesn't have the legs. Doesn't mean you can't hit things at 100 yards, because I've done a little of that and you can, but we're not going to get MOA or sub-MOA at 100 yards out of this gun. It's not going to happen. At least not where I live, not the conditions I have. Maybe in like an indoor range, in perfect conditions with weighted and sorted ammo, maybe, but not in the wild. I just can't see that happen, not consistently. And if I had just done a little research by going to Pyramid Air, pulling up the manual, I would have known that. And if we like, by contrast, let me go here. Let's look at the FX Dreamline. Because these are all kind of similar guns. I have this gun right here. No, I don't have this one. I have the tactical, sorry. Where is it? This one. But I have it with the carbon fiber. Okay, fine. Where is it? Here it is. And it's, okay, so I have the carbon fiber, right? So I have this. It looks like this is one of the examples we don't have the manual. But I can come down and see the specifications on this and get an idea. These guys are pretty good about being truthful with what you're going to get, more so than just posting manufacturer's data. They do a pretty good job. I think I'm getting more than this on my gun, and I'm definitely getting more muzzle energy. So, my gun out of the box is doing pretty doggone good. And so it's actually exceeding these specs. So, if I were going to spend money and looking at potentially like a 100-yard sub-MOA gun, this is a lot more money. I mean, dramatically more money. I get it. But it actually has the legs to do what I want. So I'd be better off saving to get something like this than, say, buying the Factor with an expectation it's going to do something it was never intended to do. You can save yourself some headache by doing a little research, and Pyramid Air, they have really good information that way. So just wanted to put that out because I found that it was useful. Back to the Factor. I enjoyed shooting the gun. We will be doing more reviews or more videos on this. They're all going to be on Gateway to Airguns grip review program. So if you haven't joined up to the GTA YouTube page, please do. The link's in the video description. So if you want to see more on this, and kind of finding it, I'm going to try and work to get the best possible results I can out of what it provides. And I can get a little more power. I can turn the reg up. We'll play with that a little bit, see what we get, how it deals with shot count. So I can get a little more out of it. I have done that. So I'm not done tinkering with it. But if you want to see that, we'll be doing it. When we look at the shooting results, yeah, this is, again, these are 50 yards. Yeah, well, that's what they are, right? So let's move on. Let's see. Kyle's asked me a question. Do you think it's the size of the transfer port limiting it? Kyle, if let me know, Kyle, if you're talking about the Factor or something else. Don't know if you're talking about. If we're still on the same topic here, but I can just. I have not. I haven't taken the Factor apart because I'm not anywhere near done just shooting it, and because it has all this adjustability on the gun itself. I'm going to work through those options before I try and do anything. The gunner really had no adjustments. It had transfer port and that's it. So, well, you not external adjustments. I did play with the reg. All right, Kyle, I'll get back to that in a second. I did play with the reg on my gunner and turned it up a little bit, but then I found I had to get more hammer weight and hammer tension, which I did by adding a little weight to the front. And that just, I came from 40 some change up to, 50, 55, 56 foot-pounds, which is, that gun's shooting really well. Sub 2-inch at 100 yards. It's not sub MOA or MOA at 100, but it's consistent 1.5 inches, 2 inches at 100 yards, which is pretty good. Okay. As far as what I think's limiting the Factor, now it might be all wet, so I'll know more once I take it apart. And I'm making some assumptions here, so I might be completely and totally wrong. All right, so just bear with me here, and I'm happy to be wrong in this. I don't know if it's a transfer port limitation, but I don't see where it has enough volume, like a plenum volume. Like I would think that if we had more plenum volume and more hammer, more power to put to the hammer, you could get more out of it because it's not pressure because you're already at 2100 psi. The think of that pressure for a minute. The G2, what's the G2 and 25 pressure? 1900 or 21? Let's just say it's 2100, right? The G2 25 is pushing what? 60 foot-pounds? Right? So it's not pressure. There's got to be something else. So I'm thinking probably either valve porting, transfer port, or plenum. One of those, or some combination of the plenum and transfer port, valve port, is probably the issue. And hammer, I don't know. It's like maybe you need to hit the valve harder. I don't know, but there's a lack of good efficiency or design there to make the best efficiency, because there's no reason this gun shouldn't go toe-to-toe power, at least power-wise, with the FX Streamline. I mean, that would be, and I really thought going into this, the reason I bought it, and GTA actually bought it for me to do these videos with. So this is not, that video is not sponsored by anybody but GTA. That's who paid for that gun. I was hoping that it would go toe-to-toe with the Dreamline for like external adjustability, but it's no, there's no chance. There is zero chance of this thing having even coming close to touching build quality, trigger pull quality, just everything, shooting experience. It's not even in the same galaxy. So yeah, I mean, granted, I know that the Dreamline's a lot more money. I mean, like almost twice as much, not quite, but 70% more. I get it. But there's a lot of value for that extra 70%. All right. I haven't found the right pellet for the Factor yet. I've only done a little bit of shooting. We're going to do more. My hope is this week is to get out to the range. I've got a bunch of work to do for Airgun Pro Shop and to get ready for Airgun Expo. So definitely going to be doing some more work with this gun. I'd like to get another video out very soon. Again, that'll be over on the Gateway Airguns channel. Let's see here. Any other questions we got? I want to go on to, I want to jump over to the Benjamin Kratos, because that gun was really fun to shoot. So we'll get over to that in a minute. Okay, Mike, here's a good question. Why don't I dial in, find the right pellet before I do the reviews? Because I like bringing people along the journey. You know, and it's funny. I've done that for years. I did that, and people said, we want to see all the pellets and how they shoot. So, I'm sort of damned if I do, damned if I don't, really. But I think there's greater value in showing products in the learning curve. So, if I get something, that's why I don't necessarily clean the barrel right out the gate. Unless like a manufacturer tells me, like Dar told me right up front, hey, clean the barrel. We put a bunch of oil in the barrel to make sure that it doesn't rust in shipping. So please clean it before you do the video. Then I'll clean the barrel. This gun, the Factor, I cleaned the barrel because I was so inconsistent. I thought, let's go ahead and clean the barrel. That may be an issue. Wasn't. Shot the same. But in any case, I actually like bringing people along the process. I could just do one video, best pellet, here you go, best shot group, there you are. And then all of a sudden, now people are going to buy that gun and expect to have that experience the minute they pull it out of the box. It doesn't work that way. There are some guns it does work that way. The FX is a good example. Daystate's a good example. Air Arm's a good example. There's guns at the high end, like we're talking close to 2,000 plus, that give you that out of the box, that kind of experience. But most of the time, there's some low end stuff too. I mean, Gauntlet does well, Avenger does well, so it's not just high end stuff. But a lot of the time, there's a learning curve. I'd rather, from an education perspective, bring people along that learning curve so that they have a better understanding of the product as a whole. I mean, often I'm only sponsored to do one video. So all the subsequent stuff that I do, the multiple reviews, the multiple looks, that's all just out of my time. Now, I have a lot of sponsors that sponsor the channel, which then allow me to do that. So when you're seeing a video I'm like 3 or 4 videos deep into it, I'm doing that because I want people to have a better understanding of the product as a whole, not just see it on its best day. Hope that makes sense to folks, but that's why I do it. Let's see here. G-Man, okay, so he's asking me about the Kratos as a hunting out to 100 yards. I was shooting at 50. Let's take, I got it here I got it here as part of the deal. So here's the Kratos. Let's move on here. This, I like this gun. In fact, if you watch the video, I kept wondering, is this thing regulated or what the heck is going on? Because I found nothing that said it was regulated, but the performance I was getting out of it as far as the shot consistency was that of a regulated gun. Now, at the end, it started to fall off, and it certainly could tell it wasn't regulated. But at the top end, I'd probably put a little teeny bit more air. So if this is 3,000 PSI, I may go like 3,100. I might. I need to test that, and I can't say do that. It's safe. This manufacturer says don't fill it over 3,000. So you guys don't fill it over 3,000. But I'm probably going to test going a little bit more, because at 3,000 I was like already at the plateau. I would love to have a little bit of a rise to know exactly how long I'm going to stay into that shot curve. Because son of a gun, did this thing have an amazingly good shot curve. Again, so much so that I thought it was regulated until I eventually kind of found the data that says it wasn't. So this gun is really good. Now, this is made by Kroll, and they're competitors of Hatsan. I don't know if they're across the street from them, but they're in Turkey as well, and I think you can throw a rock and hit their factory from each other. So, but this is I've shot Krolls. This is whatever Benjamin is doing with their relationship with them. They're making a very high quality product. If we look at the groups we got, now these were 50 yards, and we had most of them. We have one, two, three, four. We had four of them. Four out of how many? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. We had 4 out of 9 were under an inch. And this again was like out of the box sort of testing. So I haven't shot anything but the JSP Kings in it. And I don't know that the guns really broke in yet. So I am excited to do some more work with this gun for doggone sure. Because when I saw how flat that shot curve was, I'd love to find where that starts and just be able to get, a bunch of shots in that shot curve. So I'm pretty excited about that, doing that with this gun. So price wise, we're sitting at like $650, something like that. Let me see. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So let me pull over here. So we're looking at 680 or so. Just a sweet gun. I like the trigger. I probably will lighten the trigger a little bit. Love the cocking system. It's just super nice. The wood stock's great. I love the way the gun feels. I love the stability of the bipod mount. It's very, very rigid, so we have none of this wobbling stuff going on. Just a really nice gun for the money. It's really, really cool. So I think they've done a great job. I've been a fan of the Benjamin guns since I shot the Caden. The Caden was great. The Kratos is great. I shot the Akela bullpup. That was probably my least favorite. Not because the gun didn't perform, but just because I'm not a fan of the shape of that gun. But this is a great gun. I think what we'll do, Angie's going to be out here. Dave has asked me a question. I'll get to that here in a second. Yeah, the Angie's going to be out for Airgun Expo, so we may do like a live segment with. I have if Pyramid Air needs this gun back ahead of time, I actually have one that is like part of my leftover inventory from Airgun Pro Shop. So I actually have one new in the box still. So we're probably going to shoot this gun. I want Angie to shoot it, and I think we should do a live of this. We'll see if we have space in the schedule to do that, because this is a really, really good gun. And what Benjamin has done with these guns, with that partnership with Kroll, has been impressive. They've done a great job with that. From the gunner, again, Kroll gun. I've got a Caden. I don't have a Kayla, which I don't necessarily want one, but I have a Caden. I have this one, and I have the gunner. So we may do like a Benjamin live range and just shoot this stuff. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but we'll see if we can work it in. But just a really, really nice platform. Okay. I actually think with a little work, this could be a 75-yard gun. With a little more work, probably a 100-yard gun. But I need to spend some time with it at the bench to know about the 100 yards. But I think 75 is definitely in the ballpark. Let's see. Questions here. Hey, no problem, Mike. I'm glad you watch it. Now you understand a bit more about the process. So it's just the way I like doing things. So I did it the other way for many, many years, where I just I showed the best results after I'd done all the work, and that has merit. There's a lot of people that do it, but for me, that became not fun. So if I'm going to keep doing this, it needs to have some level of enjoyment to it, even though this is my full-time job. This is how I make a living. A job is a job, right? but it's a lot better when you can enjoy your job. So I try and do things in a way that I can enjoy them. Um, Heath, man, you are going to get me in trouble, but we'll get to your question because it's a fair one. Let me go over to David, who's asking, do you think the Kratos shoots like the Caden? I think the Kratos shoots better than the Caden, or very, very close to it. I like the Caden for different reasons, though. They have a different purpose. Um, the Caden I see more as a field gun, where the Kratos I see more as a bench gun. That's just my 2 cents on that. Um, anyway, so there you go. But I like the Caden a lot. I love the fact that they have that threaded end on it. You can just put a moderator on it. This, you're going to have to get an adapter, so it doesn't just have that easy access to further moderating the gun. So, and there's some refinement. This gun could use some refinement. It could use the debouncing. It could use some. It's not perfect, but it's also not $1,600-$1,700, right? So, for what they're delivering for price points, pretty doggone good. All right. Okay, so the question that's going to get me in trouble is Heath. Always with these questions, Heath. Daystate versus Air Arms. Okay. They're very different guns. If you're talking about just straight non-electronic stuff, I'm going to go Air Arms. I prefer the Air Arms to the Daystate. I've had both. I have both. I don't have a non-electronic Daystate anymore because I sold it. But yeah, I'm going to go Air Arms on the non-electronic, and obviously for the electronic side, Daystate's, Air Arms doesn't have a competitor. So for me, it's a win-win, because on the electronic side, that Daystate Red Wolf is just freaking awesome. And for the regular old airgun side, I just love Air Arms, whether it's the tactical, which we're going to do some more. We're going to have a video next Monday, if all goes well. We'll be shooting slugs out of the Air Arms tactical, see what we can get out of it. Shooting out of the Daystate impressed me so much. We'll get to that in a second. With those doggone FX slugs, I cannot wait to shoot those in good conditions. That's going to be awesome. Anyway, so we'll be shooting the Air Arms here soon with some slugs. See how it does. Hold on just a minute. All right. So I hope that answers your question, Heath. That is away from me also to skirt pissing too many people off, because I like both guns. All right, so let's go over here to the Daystate Red Wolf. I did the video. People have been asking about, does it shoot so Deceptive Autobot is saying I got to slow down the FX. I am going to be working with that FX to just dial that in. I don't know enough about what knob does what yet, so hopefully you guys will indulge me as I learn, and hopefully if you can come right along with me, we'll learn together. So I think that'll be fun. The Daystate, the electronic controls and the consistency and the shooting cycle of this gun is second to none as far as I'm concerned. It's my personal opinion. If anyone's able to come out for Airgun Expo, we're not going to have like tables up where all the products are out, but there will be time if you want to come out and shoot some stuff between segments or whatever. So it is open if you guys want to come out, and directions and stuff are on the website. It's the AirgunExpo.com, and you can click on the link and get directions and whatnot. But we're going to be running that from the 24th to the 28th. This is one of the guns we will be shooting for sure, because I want Angie to spend some time with this gun. Again, the shooting cycle, the shot noise is ridiculously quiet. It's just an exceptionally well-tuned airgun. It's designed to shoot pellets, but folks were asking me, does it shoot slugs? And I wasn't sure. So we did some slug tests, and as you can see here, my picture out of the way. It's hard, maybe hard to see on this picture, but we'll pull up the two best shots. Out of the gate, the FX Slug shot a group that was smaller than my pinky nail. I mean, like by a good margin smaller than my pinky nail. And that was like sealed it for me. I'm going to be shooting some slugs out of this gun to find out absolutely what's going to give me the best results. But if I can shoot sub MOA, I know I can shoot sub MOA at 50 yards with the gun already, as we did better than 50% sub MOA with pellets. So we know the guns can do it, even with me behind the trigger in the wind. So the gun's not the issue. I want to see what we can do with slugs. Can we improve on that with slugs? Can we get it to shoot really, really well at 100? Well, now I've got a whole bunch of fun stuff to go try, because I still am going to go through all the H&N slugs I have. Being 22, and it's not very powerful, so we got to find something that's, not super heavy, something that's reasonable. So I'm excited to see what I can possibly get out of this gun on the slug front, because it impressed me. Let me show you these groups here. So the last group I got after Raphael, yes, you can reprogram it. My gun's sort of programmed for as much as it can give me. You would have to go to the high power, which would give you, can get you a lot more. It's got a much longer barrel, which gives you the ability to push everything a little bit harder. Because my barrel's shorter, it's really kind of at optimal. I could maybe brute force it to do a little better, but you're just wasting air. It's better off on the standard that I have to let it do what it does really, really well than try and brute force it to do more than it's designed to do. If you want more, the high power would be the way to go. See you, Tim. I've been talking to Airguns of Arizona, and they will sell me a Red Wolf 25 high power that's been tuned for 100 yards. I've got to save up before I can afford to get it, because we're talking a chunk of change, and it may be something that after Airgun Expo I'll be able to take some of the funds from that and get that, but I don't know yet. I hope to get something like that. I also want to work with what I already have to see if we can get that sub MOA at 100 yards locked down. Now, Donald was saying that some of my rifles will shoot sub MOA, but that depends on me. Yeah, I don't have any guns that will consistently shoot sub MOA at 100. I have them that'll do 50 yards. But 100, at least where I live. Now, if you live in a place that has no wind ever, and you're at a range with a concrete bench and the right rests, and I mean, I can see that. I could see my shots improving. We will, on that front, we will be making adjustments to the range facility. We're going to pour slab, and we're going to do some work to create far more rigid shooting benches, so that some of that wobble, I mean, a fraction of a wobble at the bench is half an inch at 100 yards or more. So we do need to do some work at the facility level to get better results, and we're focused on doing that. So, hopefully by next year we'll have those upgrades in place. But I just don't have anything that I can shoot with the equipment and facilities I have consistently at 100 yards and get sub MOA. I can occasionally do it, but one group out of 10 to me, that doesn't impress me. 7 groups out of 10, okay, that impresses me. When you can start putting the majority of your groups hitting that mark, to me that says that the gun's a sub MOA gun. If it can't do it 7 out of 10 times, then it doesn't count as far as I'm concerned. I've had guns do it once out of 20 or once out of 10 or once out of 30 groups, get that just perfect group where it all came together just right. But if I can't do that 7 out of 10 times, to me it doesn't count. So that's another reason why I don't just show only the optimal. I want to show how things work real world kind of things. Okay, I need some water. Let's see. Oh. Okay, the Alpha Wolf Heath is something I really want to get my hands on. That's going to be one of those things that I'm going to have to save up for sure. But it's on my wish list for sure. Let's go over and we're going to look at the first group we shot. This was now that bull is like that big. Okay, just so you guys know. And yeah, I was shooting at 25 yards, but we had some pretty significant wind, and we had we had just pretty significant wind, and I had never shot slugs before, so um, I tend to want to shoot closer in so I can get a feel of how the product's performing and what kind of variations we're getting. It's far easier for me to understand what's going on starting at 25 yards than starting at 50 yards. There's more variables that can come into play from a pure testing perspective at 50 yards that I want to start in closer to see, what we're going to get, ideally. So that's why I started 25 yards. Besides the wind, I probably would have done 25 yards anyway. But the first group there, literally smaller than my pinky nail. So I'm thinking center to center was probably well under a quarter of an inch for sure. And it was just, that was awesome. I mean, that was what I was wanting to see. I would love to see that at 50 yards. I don't know if that's even practical, but man, that would just be stinking awesome. Oh man. If you guys watched that video, you saw me struggling with allergies, man. It has been brutal. We had all that rain. I have some footage of the flooding we had here. Pretty crazy. I'm gonna do a little video just for fun, and you guys can see what it was doing here. Our range building flooded out, and our range flooded. And, but after we had all that water, the whole desert's just the greenest I've ever seen it. So everything is blooming everywhere. So the allergy season is just, it's been absolutely brutal. So I apologize. My my throat is a little rough, and I got sniffles, and it's totally completely unprofessional, but I'm doing the best I can here. Um, oh yeah, awesome shirt, eh, Ange? We'll have to get some for you. We'll get Tyler from Airgun Pro Shop is going to be here for Airgun Expo, so we're going to be we'll be hanging out. You'll get to meet him. We'll start talking about some cool videos maybe you can be doing for them first of the year or something. All right, guys. I think we've kind of hit all the topics tonight. The one thing I do want to maybe look at for next week, because we're going to start doing them every week again now. And right at the beginning, Kyle was up here and he was talking about modding his Gauntlet 2 with a larger bottle. And he's got a 30 cal. And he was going to look at the bottle that Haji's got. And I haven't seen what Haji's got, but the bottle that's on it is already 24 cubic inch. I don't know what that is, CC. So maybe somebody can do the math there. But it's already 4,500 PSI. So if you had like a 3,000 PSI, and we're going to a 4,500 PSI, all right, there's some real value there. If you're adding volume, I don't know how many more shots it's going to give you. Functionally, I don't know what the difference is. I could probably get a hold of Haji and have a chat with him about it. But it does bring up a topic of, when does it make sense to mod your airgun? And I think maybe we could talk a little bit about that next week. Maybe I can get Travis up. We haven't had Travis here in a while, and I'll reach out to him. And if he's able to come up on the show, we'll get the Airgun guys back together again. And because he's the guy who is going to argue hard on every gun should be modded. That's just Travis. Every gun that he gets, I don't know that he does. I think the first thing he does is take it completely apart, rebuild, fix it, rebuild it, and put it back together, better than it was before. That is just Travis's DNA. He's that engineer type. Me, that's not me at all. It needs to work out of the box, and I need it to be the least amount of effort as possible for me to be pleased with it. So that's what I am. That's my expectations of airguns. So for me, other than maybe like the gunner, where it's like a weight at the end of a spring, and now it transforms the gun, I'll do that. But if I've got to mod the stock, I've got to change a bunch of things. It changes the entire look of the gun. That's not generally something I do. Doesn't mean it's bad, and if that's something you guys like to do, come ready to discuss it next week. But I think that's going to be a really fun topic to kind of get into. But guys, that's going to be it. Yeah, that is a rabbit hole, Raphael. You're not stinking kidding, man. That's going to be it for tonight, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I want to say thank you for coming up and hanging out with me for an hour on a Tuesday evening. I hope you guys are visiting Airgun Pro Shop, because they are, helping us do this show and sponsoring this work we're doing here. And also, Gateway to Airguns, please, if you haven't joined, please do. It's just a great community of folks that just love, super passionate about air guns. If I posed the question on the GTA of when does it make sense to mod your air gun, the overwhelming response would be all the time, because they are that level of enthusiasts. They absolutely love that part of the sport. So yeah, just a great bunch of guys over there. And we also have a lot of other things we have going on between Airgun Army, and we have, again, Airgun Expo coming up. I think what we're going to be doing this year, we will be probably broadcasting the shows, the episode or the segments live on our website, and then rebroadcasting them on social media. But we're going to work those technical things out over the next couple of weeks here and be ready to hit it on October 24th. So please join us. We're going to have just an entire week of nothing but cool airgun stuff. We'll have live segments that people can interact with, and we'll also have the evening wraps. We'll be doing those again, and Joe will be here at least for some of it. Angie will be here. I'm not sure if Travis is going to make it. I know Tyler's going to be here for some of it as well. So we're going to have a lot of fun, and I'm reaching out. We're going to have some new sponsors this year, along with our standards, or our good standbys that we've had. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Excuse me. And I hope you guys will join us. So that's going to be it. Yeah, your pocket can't handle it. I'm with you, Raphael. That's the only way I could have stayed in this sport, is I had to find a way to make it a job I could earn a living doing it. So I feel your pain there, bro. But that's going to be it, guys. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week. One last thing, starting tomorrow, and I meant to say this earlier, so forgive me. Starting tomorrow, we're going to be publishing our coverage of the Daisy Nationals. We had a great time at that event, and we've got just about all the videos ready to go. So we're going to start releasing them starting tomorrow. So stay tuned for that, and we'll be pushing those out. All right, guys, that's going to be it. Have a great rest of your week. See ya.